Hi Stampers, this is Kim with Great Inspirations. I'm happy you found me today. Here it is, this is June. Today is June 5th and we're actually starting to have some summer now. We had some rather cool weather for a while, but now it's getting nice and warm. So I have been outside a whole lot more, but I have had time to make a few cards. And the other day I was just playing around and I came up with a card, and maybe someone's made it before or used a similar idea, but it was just something that I came up with, and I call it a triple panel flap card. And I do so because the card has 3 flaps, but also for the card base, you score once, cut twice, the base is done. All that's left to do is to decorate it. So here's the card. Well, let's start with this one actually. And it has these 3 flaps. And on the inside, what I did, I arranged things so that when you open a flap, you see a nice little surprise. Seize the day. Wishing you oceans of happiness. And happy birthday. And here's a spot that you can sign your name. If you would rather have a larger space to write more than your name, maybe write a personal message, you could put a panel on the back side of the card to do that. So this card is a mini slimline, and I cut it just a teensy bit shorter than most of the mini slimline cards I made. And the reason I did that was to be able to evenly cut my flaps. So each of these are 2 inches wide. So the card measures 6 by 3.5. Or if it would be 6 by 7 would be the cardstock you would cut. Score it on the 7-inch line at 3.5. I mean the 7-inch side, excuse me. And then you'd have your card base, and all that's left to do is to cut your flaps, and we'll walk through how to do that. Now on this card, I got a little crazy. Put my flowers there, and then I stamped my greeting, but I forgot this flap would be down. So I just left it like that. And I've thought about maybe putting some little flowers along here. I don't know. That was my boo-boo for the week. So, and then here is a Christmas version with the cute little woodland critters here. From our house to yours. May your season be one that's festive and fun. Happy Christmas. And there's a spot to sign your name, or as I said, you could put a panel on the back side to write a personal message and sign your name. Now, I know not everybody likes to make slimline cards. Now, this particular mini slimline will fit into a regular envelope like you would mail a letter, not the number 10 envelope like a business envelope, but the next size down. But anyway, I know not everyone likes to make those. So I figured out how to do one in A2 size. However, these panels are not the same width. They're different. This middle panel is 2 inches wide, whereas these 2 flaps, they are 1 3/4 inches wide. And of course they are, 4 1/4 inches long. But all the measurements for both of these cards will be found on my corresponding blog post, and the link to that blog post is in the description of this video. So here's a happy birthday one using some pansies. And then I, of course, wishing you a little extra happiness just because you're you, because we have the happy birthday out here. And then I just die cut some pansies and put on the side to make a nice, bright, cheery birthday card. And then here's a Christmas card in gold and white. And I use scraps. For a lot of these, for this card, this one, And this one I use scraps. But sometimes, definitely use your scraps. But sometimes you have an idea in mind, ooh, I want to use this paper, but I only have so much. And I encourage you, measure, measure, measure. Like my husband says, measure twice, cut once. And so I did. I figured out how much I needed and what orientation it had to be in, because I just had a little bit of this paper, and it has foil inlaid snowflakes and a little bit of this gold cardstock. And when I was finished cutting this out, this is all I had left. So had I not really measured and figured out exactly how to do my cutting, this card may not have come into existence. I probably would have had smaller scraps and a lot more than just these two. But the other thing, I do enjoy making gold and white cards at Christmas time, or even gold and silver. And I do use my gold embossing powder, but I've also had gold ink in the past, but I do like the embossing powder. But on the inside of the cards, sometimes that's just not something it's possible to use embossing powder or gold ink, or maybe you don't have it. So an option is, when you're using gold, if you have a khaki color, maybe even a bit of a tan colored ink, it will take on a gold look when you have it next to the gold. Now, you all know I used to be a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. So in Stampin' Up! Ink, the great color to mimic gold is crumb cake. If you want to mimic silver, use a light to medium shade of gray. And I don't have a sample of that for you. But again, in the Stampin' Up! Colors, that shade would be smoky slate. They have a new color called Cloud Cover. It's a bluish gray, and I haven't tested it out yet next to silver. But that's what I do. When I get new inks or different brands of inks, I test them out, especially if they're, in the tans, khakis, or silvers, to see how well they would mimic those metallic colors of gold and silver. So that's just a couple of tips there. Back to this card. I have some things for us to walk through together to be able to see how I cut that out. It's really easy. And I'm going to get my trimmer. And I have some pieces here. And I have a greeting. And I have the mini Slimline card base. And like I said, it's 7 by 6. No, this is a 7-inch side, sorry. 7 by 6, scored at 3.5. And here is the A2 card base that's 8.5 by 5.5, and we'll score that together here in a bit. Score it and cut it. But here, you just see, I always make my little charts for me, then I can file them so I can remember. This is basically what we're going to do. We will score the center of our card base, and then we're going to put it in the trimmer, and we're going to cut. For the mini one, we're going to go over to the 2-inch mark and cut down just to the score line. So cut down just 3.5 inches, and we'll repeat the same at 4 inches. So let's do that right now. And this is one of a new color from Stampin' Up. It's, what is it? Secret Sea. It looks black or charcoal, but it's really a really dark blue. And I like it. So we're going to make a card with it. So I'm going to, here's the score line at 3.5. So we put the 6-inch side at the top. Yep, that's a 6-inch side. And we're going to move it over 2 inches. I'm going to move this down just a little so you can see that. And I'll close this and slip my white paper under here so I can see. We're just going to go down to 3. Let me move this out of the way. 3.5. And we should hit the score line, and you'll feel it when you get there. So there, we've got it down to the 3-inch mark, or 3.5-inch mark. And now we're going to go over to 4 inches, and we're going to do the exact same thing. Cut down to 3.5. I say to 3.5. You'll be at the score line. And there we go. Set this over here for a little bit. I'm going to get out a piece of white paper so it'll be easier to see this. So now we're going to fold our card base. I'm going to get a bone folder. And what I do, I start on the outside and make sure those corners line up really well. And then crease. And then I come over to the other corner, or the other end. I really think I need a nap. My husband took our grandson camping the past 2 nights. And I had our granddaughter here with me one night, and then yesterday morning, I think she wore me out. But anyway, here we go. We've got the 2 ends are folded down, and we've creased the score line really well. And now we're ready to do the middle one. And I just find when I do it this way, everything kind of lines up easier, lines up a lot better. So there we have that. And now I have some layers here. The first layer is just the white cardstock. And that first layer for the slimline card will be 1 3/4 by 3.25 inches. All those measurements are on my blog post. But we're going to just put these down right here. And you know, you don't have to, you can use just 1 layer if you want. You can use just cardstock. You can use just pattern paper. You can use them both. You can use cardstock for both layers. And maybe emboss one. It's whatever you want to do. We're just doing our layers just like we would for any card. This happens to be 3 little panels. Well, actually, the way I found the easiest way was for me to just bring down 1 flap at a time. We'll get the second one on here. Now we'll do the last one. Oh. There we go. Panels are on. And now I'm going to put a panel inside. And of course this would be cut at 5 3/4 by 3 1/4. And we just put it, let me see here. Oh, right in here. And then to stamp whatever you want to stamp in the 3 little sections, I close the ones I'm not needing. I stamp something here, close this, open the whichever one you want, but we'll just say the middle one, stamp something here, then do the last one. And then that way you can really center, or you'll know exactly how much space you have to put your images. Now I've already stamped this one. We have Relax, You Deserve It, and some nice little beach scenes there. My adhesive does not like to come out today. Then we'll just open this up, center it again, see if we got it right. Think so. There's that. And now I have the greeting for the front. Just take the backs off of these dimensionals. Oh, that's my cousin texting me. I thought I turned my phone off. Oh, well, anyway, there we go. Happy birthday. And that is my triple panel flap card in the mini slimline size. So here are those others that I made. That's that size. Now let's, we won't put together an A2 size, but we'll walk through cutting the card base. So here are the two A2 size ones I made, and they do fit in a regular A2 size envelope. And we'll get out the trimmer. And I just had that green card base. Oh, there it is. It's hiding. Now we've scored it, as always, at 4 1/4. And now we're just going to put it in the trimmer. And we're going to go to 1 3/4 inch. Only we're going to put it with the short side. I told you I need a nap. Let's see, 1 3/4. 5 1/2 inch side at the top. And then we're going to cut 4 1/4, which is to the score line. I don't think I need my white paper. I can see this, I think. Go to 1 1/4. There we go. Now, this middle panel is going to be 2 inches wide. So from 1 3/4, we're going to go add 2 inches. So that would be 3 3/4. Right there. And then once again, we're going to cut down, there she is again, to 4 1/4. And we have our flaps. And just like on the other one, we start with one end. Then I go to the other end, get everything all lined up. Use a bone folder. Then to the center. And then it's just a matter of decorating it. And the measurements for all the layers, like I said, that's all on my corresponding blog post. So let's bring all the cards back in here. Here are these two. And then we have the one we just made. A little Christmas one with the little critters on it. I need to move these down a bit. And there is our beachy one and the floral. Thank you so much for joining me today. And until next time, stamp happy.